How might Mike Pence's message play out? Let's get more perspective now from Chris Hill. He's the chief advisor to the Chancellor in global engagement at the University of Denver. He's also the author of Outpost, A Diplomat at Work, a memoir that details his experience as a former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asia and a former U.S. ambassador. Ambassador Hill, always a delight talking to you. Let me ask you this. Sports has a way of bringing people together, but it can also be a great platform to inflame passions. And the last time the U.S. Vice President used a sporting event as a platform, we remember it well, the NFL football game in Indianapolis, which he attended just so he could walk out in protest in October of 2017. There's this concern among the administration that the DPRK may use this as an effort to hijack the Olympics for messaging, which may mean that the U.S. is also going to try and do its best to use the Olympics for messaging. Is that a good strategy?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't accept that notion that somehow they'll do something and we'll do something, that there's some kind of equivalence here. I think Vice President Pence is fulfilling a duty that vice presidents have fulfilled in the past, which is to cheer on American athletes. But obviously he has an important political duty, and that is to reassure Japan and South Korea of our continued commitment and to demonstrate that the U.S. is very much a player in the region. You know, there's no secret that there's some concern about the DPRK's participation in the Olympics and what they'll try to do to sort of show that they're some kind of normal country, which they are not. But on the other hand, I think the United States understands very well the great passion of South Korea to have a successful Olympics, very important for that country. And so I don't believe you'll see the Vice President causing any problem there. And whether he meets with the North Koreans or not, that would be interesting. But I think the U.S. position is quite clear. We will work with North Korea, we'll do whatever, but they need to understand that they've got to get rid of these nuclear weapons. And I don't see any change in that.
And you mentioned the word reassurance. Here's a headline from just 6 days ago. Trump's South Korea ambassador pick opposes attacking the North, so Trump dumped him. There seems to be some concern in the ROK about this strategy that is being bandied about in Washington about this bloody nose, a limited strike in Pyongyang. What does the Vice President have to do to reassure allies about this?
Well, first of all, my understanding is this idea of some kind of single strike to get their attention is not shared by the entire U.S. government, that it was a position being, or an idea being developed within the NSC staff. I think it was a shame that they are not going forward with Dr. Victor Cha. He's one of the most talented American analysts and really figures on the Korean Peninsula. I worked with him very closely in the six-party talks. He knows the issues through, and besides that, we haven't had an ambassador there since January 20th, 2017. So I think the Vice President does need to assure the South Koreans. He needs to, at a minimum, say we're going to get an ambassador out there very, very soon. And also he needs to be very clear that the discussion of this so-called bloody nose is in the context of all options being on the table. They need to look at each option, examine each option, but surely they aren't going to pick an option without working closely with the allies, and that includes the Republic of Korea.
And you were a diplomat. You've written a book about diplomacy. How much does it hurt the United States that there isn't an ambassador right now in the ROK?
I think it's very important to have an ambassador there. I think, first of all, a major ally like South Korea expects to have an ambassador there. We have a very talented staff. We have an excellent charge d'affaires, but we need an ambassador there. And in the absence of an ambassador, I think there's a tendency to talk to the U.S. Force Commander, who is also a marvelous person, but I think we need a better balance of military and diplomacy. And so I would hope they can get an ambassador out there very soon. It's way overdue.
Ambassador Chris Hill, thanks so much for your time.